Hello everybody and welcome to the Sam Olawale channel. If you like the content, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's jump into this. So I want to talk a little bit today about what it takes to go from dropshipping to branding, i.e. if you have a dropshipping store or a dropshipping business and you want to move over and start going into branded stuff, what are really the key ingredients that get you there? Now, like myself, with many other people out there, we all started with a hope and a prayer, this thing called e-commerce. It came out of nowhere. We jumped straight into it. And most people do start with either dropshipping or Amazon FBA or print on demand. In essence, selling someone else's product or a third-party product, trying to make the arbitrage in between. Trying to do that whilst profitable is very difficult, but I think it's a great way to cut your teeth in the e-commerce game. I would always encourage new people going into this business to definitely try doing some drop shipping at the beginning, because it's such a humbling experience. You have to really overcome so many hurdles to be profitable. And then once you do that, stepping up into building a brand is actually a much easier endeavor, but it's much harder in other ways. So, people tend to get addicted to the Kool-Aid of dropshipping because it's basically a cash flow business. It hasn't got any intrinsic value. You don't build something with long-term brand equity in what you're doing, but it is a cash business. It's inherently fraught with so many hurdles and dangers, but when you do it right, it can be very lucrative on a cash-wise. But if you really want to make the big figures, if you want to be making multiple 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures, you will have to build a real brand. This is a fact. So what are the key things? And it's interesting because if you asked most people who weren't into building brands, who are just doing dropshipping or Amazon FBA, the idea they have about what a brand is, I find is very different to what it actually entails to build a brand. So for example, in many of these Facebook groups where you have e-commerce newbies and things, they think building a brand is having a website. They think building a brand is whacking a logo on a website. They think building a brand is just taking a product, putting it in a different box and selling that. And in essence, those things are all essential to building a brand. Yes, you need your own website. Yes, you need to make a nice logo in part. Yes, the packaging needs to be nice, but a brand isn't just about the product. It always having a great product, a custom product that you made from scratch or an adapted product is always essential, in my opinion, to build a brand. But let's just put product to one side. Let's just say, because you can build a brand selling generic products as well. It's much harder, but it can be done. I've seen it done. And people making multiple 7 figures. I've never seen people making 8 figures, to be honest, with a white label product with zero customization. But it can be done. But if you want to be making multiple 8 figures, etc., you need to come with an adapted product. But let's just put that to one side. Product aside, what is it that can help you take the leap? If we're going to talk about products, that's a different talk to have a different time. I've got a million things to say about that. I'm really experienced in product development. But like I said, let's put that to one side. Normalize that. It's equal on both sides of the equation, so we cancel it out. So now let's talk about everything else it takes to turn from or go from being a dropshipper to having a brand. The number one thing that I think many people sleep on is not just copy, but the depth, I would say, of knowledge of who your customers really are. That for me is the determining factor of going from drop shipping to brand. There's a famous quote that says, a brand is how people talk about you when you're not around, right? And for most people in this game, no one is talking about you in any way, shape or form, whether you're around or not, but people really sleep on the true deep understanding of who their customers are. So the first thing you need to do, step one, is you need to read a book by Donald Miller called Building a Story Brand. And you need to make a spreadsheet or a Google document, whatever it is, however you guys, internalize or docutize what you do. And you need to make brand scripts and avatars. So, for example, if you have product X, you might have an audience of people who do yoga, people who are stay-at-home mums, people who are working professionals, people who are into sports, people who are into, let's say, healthy living and healthy eating. For your product, you need to answer all the questions that are in the brand script. So to give you an example, who is the enemy? The hero matrix. What about the product turns them into a hero? The consumption matrix. How are they going to consume your product? When, where, and how are they going to consume the product? Plus, there's a bunch of other questions that you not only need to be answering, you need to be taking literally probably a good few days, just really sitting there deeply thinking about this, putting down as many things as you can. Write drunk, edit sober. Really whack on there as many things as you can. And I always tell people, look, start with a general brand script first. Just do a brand script in general. Try and get everything out in general. And then once you've got that, then you can start moving to different types of avatars who are really, really into buying your product. So let's say you start with a general brand script, just putting down in what you think people would want, how they would use, how they'd interact, the general stuff. Once you read the book, it will make sense. You start there, and then as you start running ads and getting feedback and seeing comments and getting emails and customer service and all these good things, you'll start coming back to it and refining it and refining it and refining it. And then once you've started to refine the general one, you'll start finding those pockets of people, like I just said, work from home mums, yoga, whatever, who resonate a lot with your product, and then make another brand script just for them. Okay, that's what we do in our team. So we have the general brand script and then multiple brand scripts for different avatars and customers that buy our product, who we see as major pockets. And it's an evolving document as well. Our branding director, this is one of her number one roles in the company, one of her number one roles in the company, which is keeping the brand script not just up to date, but absolutely punctual for everybody else in the business. And the brand script is the foundation to doing everything else in your business. Writing descriptions on your product pages, copywriting for the email marketing, video scripts for the video editors to make the content, even the way the product is presented, all of it comes down. The sorts of images, for example, you use on the website, all of it comes down and is, let's say, the brand script is the foundation of the pyramid of which everything else is built. If you don't have a high quality brand script that everyone truly in your team, and everyone in your team should be fully familiar with this brand script. It should be the go-to place. If they're going to make content in any way, shape or form, visual, audio, whatever, they need to have the brand script as their, let's say, the Bible for them to build on. And it really does bleed a lot, makes it so easy to write copy for the ads, to write video scripts. And I'll give you a bit of insight into how we do it, for example. So some of the best converting videos that we have are long form, let's say, video sales letters. And we put these as ads, and they can be up to, even some of them are even up to 7 minutes long. So, and they have crazy click-through rates, like 4, 5, 6% click-through rates. It's amazing. So what happens is our copywriters will write a long form video script, right? This is even a separate video I'll talk about another time as to how we do this. It could be as long as it needs to be. There's no time limit on this. And then once they've got the long form version, they then extract, they kind of cut it down by half. Then they'll make like a, if the video is, let's say 7 minutes in the long form, the shorter form, the medium one will be around 3.5 minutes to 4 minutes. Then we extract, let's say, a 1.5 minute one. Then we extract a 1 minute one. Then we extract a 30-minute one. And all we do is just keep removing content from the long one, and we end up distilling it down to having 4 different videos. The brand script is the foundation of that. Another thing that we do is we have a tab in our spreadsheet called ingredients. What are ingredients? Ingredients are all the key things that we put on videos that aren't necessarily sentences, but are more like phrases. You know, so if you're into, if you're selling leggings, for example, you would have antibacterial fabric. That could be an ingredient. It's a benefit, in essence, not a feature, but a benefit. In R1, we have a bunch of different tabs at the top. Again, this is another video I'll make another time about this, but we have lots of different tabs at the top. So we'll have like the why, the call to action, the benefit, the feature. We also have testimonials and comments. So we have a spreadsheet with all these things at the top, and we put them as small bite-sized chunks of information. So save 50%, 38% discount, 24% one-time only offer. Like, we have all these different ingredients, bunch of different benefits. And then from there, the video editors can really have fun, because there's a lot of content that needs to be made for so many different platforms when I think about it, right? You have TikTok content, which is very different to Facebook content. You have Facebook content, which is very different to Instagram content. You have, you know, so on and so forth. So you don't always want to be holding the hands of your video editors. What you want to do is you want to make the brand script. Then you want to make the long form videos and redact that down to the medium video, the shorter video, the 1 minute video, the 30-second video. You get those made. And then you take that plus the ingredients. And once your video editors have done that and have gone through the feedback loop, iterating their way to success with your team, then they have a very strong understanding of, I get what this needs to be made into now. And then they can take the ingredients, chop and change, slice and dice all those videos into much smaller chunks of content that you can really start testing and expanding with on all your social media platforms. So I hope that kind of makes sense. But doing all of that is way more impactful to turn you into a brand than just having a new website and a new logo. Being able to have the brand script, then taking that, making the ingredients, then taking that, redacting lots of different videos from the long form video, and in essence, having a platform that then gives you the resonant message to that audience to make them connect with your product. That is going to take you a million miles further than just, you know, getting a nice new box and putting the product in that. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you found some sort of value in that. It was a bit disjointed. I haven't made a video in a while, so apologies, but I think you kind of get the essence of it. And if you like what I said, if there's anything in there, because there's so many things I actually spoke about that I could go into way more detail on, comment below, tell me what you want to hear. Once I get some feedback from you guys, I'm always happy to go into more detail and more depth and make more videos on specific things. So if you heard something here that interests you, that you want to know more about, comment below, and yeah, I'll try and get round to it as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. See you next time.